Welcome to today's vlog. So today we're going to do things a little differently. Because really the only thing we want to do today is to flush my brake fluid, we're just going to turn this into a little more of a how-to video and call it a vlog. So today I guess I'm going to show you how to flush your brake fluid. So let's get to it. So there's going to be only a few basic tools and things you will need. One, I just got this like little siphon multi-use pump thing. You can use I've seen people use like turkey basters and other like suction devices. You just need to use something like that. You don't really have to, but I'm going to use some of this Lucas brake parts cleaner to kind of clean off around the the bleeder valve, as well as other little parts around it. I'm going to use some of these shop towels to help clean things up and everything. And then obviously you're going to want your brake fluid. I'm using some of the Lucas brake fluid that they sent me in my care package, so that's going to be really nice. Like a little bottle to put everything into. In fact, I'm actually just going to put it in, like I was saying before my phone died. I'm going to put everything in here for now, because I don't have any other empty containers to put it in. But once I get one of these bottles emptied, then I'm going to start putting them in here. Yes, I know exactly what it is and everything. So then after that, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I'm going to use some of these shop towels to keep everything nice and clean. And then you'll need, let's see, you can either do this the 2-man method or the 1-man method to bleed the brakes. I picked this up, it's a 1-man bleeder kit, about a year ago when I had all my issues with my front end. And I had to replace caliper and everything, so obviously I had to bleed the brakes. And with doing 20 million other things, I didn't want to deal with trying to make one, so I just bought it. And yeah. So these are really nice. If you don't want to go get one and buy one of these, you can make them out of just like a bottle like that and some hose. But and then you also you're going to need a socket or a wrench or whatever. I'm using a 10 millimeter, but you're going to want something to break that bleeder valve open with. So first thing you want to do is you're going to want to try to take almost as much fluid out of your master cylinder as you can. Before you open up the cap, you are going to want to make sure you get everything cleaned up all around it. Since like last weekend I had power washed all of the inside of here, it was already nice and clean, but I took a little brake fluid or brake cleaner and made sure I got everything all cleaned up. So and another thing is obviously the brake fluid you're going to need. So first check and see what fluid your owner's manual and vehicle calls for. If it calls for .3, you can use either .3 or .4, which is what I'm going to do. However, if it calls for .4, you cannot use .3. The reason for that is that the .3 has a lower boiling point, lower temperature. .4 has a higher temperature. So if it calls for .4, that means basically the manufacturer knows that the brakes are going to get really hot, so it needs that .4 for that extra protection. So if you put a .3 in, it's going to boil and you're going to have issues. So once you get all that figured out, now I'm just going to use my little pump here, and I'm going to try to pump almost all this out. You don't want to get it completely empty, because you still want to have some in there because you don't want air in the lines. So I'm going to leave, I don't know, probably just like a little bit left, just enough so that we don't get a bunch of air in the system. And then we'll fill it up with some new fluid and start bleeding the brakes. Yeah, one more quick thing. The new fluid, as you'll see, is supposed to be completely clear, and this is like very much like brown and almost black even. So yeah, definitely good we're going to get new fluid in. Yeah, this is just nasty, and it would not surprise me if this is like original fluid, and this is 2001. So and really you're supposed to change your fluid every 2 to 3 years, and it's been, I would assume, like whatever, 16 years, so definitely overdue. But yeah, so now we're just gonna try to flush all this out and get all this skunk out so we can get some new fluid in. Yeah, so that you can see the comparison. You can see this is new fluid. See how clear that is? You want to basically get that up to the max line. And here is our old fluid. So that's basically black. And it's like supposed to be clear going in. So yeah, this is pretty dirty and pretty bad. So now, since we got our master cylinder filled up, now it's time to actually bleed the brakes and get the new fluid moving through the whole system. So when you do this, you're going to want to start at the lines furthest away from your master cylinder and your ABS pump. Which for me, ABS pump is right underneath driver's door, and in most vehicles it's going to be up at the front. So most vehicles you're going to want to start in the back. So basically I'm going to start back here and then work my way up. And yeah, so I'm only going to demonstrate the one-person method, but I will go ahead and tell you guys how to do the two-person method. Okay. So as you're looking at the back of your brake calipers, and this is going to be pretty much the same with drum brakes. You're still going to have a bleeder valve. So you just take the little rubber cover off. And yeah, so if you're doing the two-person method, yeah, so you're going to want to get a hose, hook a hose onto it, hook it into a bottle or something, and then have somebody just hit on the brakes as you loosen the valve, bleeder valve. So when you loosen it, then they hit the brakes, and then you close it off, they release the brakes, and you keep doing that. One person method is a little simpler, and I will go ahead and show you that now. So you want to get your bottle and the end of your hose below the bleeder valve of your caliper or your brakes, whatever, and you want to have your hose go up somehow. That way if there's any air, the air will try to stay up and won't go back in. And then now you will just loosen it up. Yeah, so you want to just crack it loose until you start getting fluid coming out, and you want to make sure everything's nice and tight. And then you go in and just kind of pump the brakes a few times, and just watch it and make for sure. Well, you just keep doing it until this becomes clear, and then you make sure you have no air bubbles, and then you close it off, and then you're like done. And then want to go check master cylinder and make sure it's nice and clean or full, and top it off if you need to. And actually this is flowing pretty well on its own because it's already starting to fill up the thing. but I'll go ahead and give it a couple little pumps. Yeah, so that old fluid is so bad and so dirty that it like already made my new fluid all dirty. So when we're going ahead and trying to clean out this master cylinder again, you can see some of those deposits and junk in there. So yeah, so we're going ahead and reflushing the master cylinder, and then we'll put new fluid in. Hopefully then we'll get some really clear fluid coming out. So this is basically all you'll do, is just sit here, just push on the brake and let off. And then do that a couple times, check fluid or your reservoir or master cylinder, whatever, still good. It'll sort of look like this. You can see how relatively clean and clear that looks. And then you want to look up here, make sure you don't see any air, which I am not. So now you want to take your wrench, socket, whatever, and tighten it up to close it off. And then once you get that done, and it should all drain into your bottle, and then you put your little rubber cap back on it, and then you want to try to clean up any brake fluid that you may have spilt or made a mess out of, and then you'll move on to your next brake. Now I'm not going to show you all of these brakes because it's going to be the same procedure for all of them. So I hope you guys can hear this, but when I first put on the brakes, you can kind of hear some air in the system. So take a listen. Hear that? Yeah, so that tells me there's somewhere in the system there's a little bit of air. So we want to try to bleed all that out. So we got it down pretty good. I still think there's a little bit of air in the system, but I don't know. I still want to do a little brake work here. No, a couple weeks maybe. So I can redo them at that point and make sure to get it all out. But so here in a little bit, we're going to go test them. But first, I want to look around, make sure you don't see any leaks coming out, and then you also want to make sure you get your master cylinder topped off. So we are going to go do that now, and then we'll probably go and do a little test drive. So now you just want to kind of pump your brakes a little bit and make sure we get the fluid all the way through the system. It's like right now, it's going straight to the floor. You just got to make sure you get them pumped real well. Otherwise, you aren't going to have any brakes. So now that you have driven, or not driven yet, but now that you have kind of pumped the brakes, I just want to kind of test them.